Morning everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So I've just come out of the woods today for a day camp. There's a few jobs that I've got to do. Got to do a bit of coppicing on this grassy ride here, and later on in the afternoon I want to build a bushcraft chair. At the moment I've just got the Bushcraft cafetiere on. I've got the TGM Metalworks hook and grill plate. So I'm going to have coffee and croissants before I start, and then sticking with the French theme. For lunch I'm going to have French onion soup, which I'm going to cook in the Petromax FT1 tiny little Dutch oven. I've never done it before, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I've put a little tarp up here, just the DD 3x3 metre tarp, because it's quite cloudy and it's been raining on and off. This is the first cool day that we've had now for a long time. So the wood's a little bit damp, but once the fire got going there, that should heat me coffee up, and then I'm going to get me croissants on there to warm them as well. So, what am I going to do then? I'm going to look for some decent straight wood, probably hazel, and I'm going to build one of those bushcraft chairs that I've seen people building on YouTube. I've never built one before, and I haven't really paid that much attention to how you build it. I just had a quick look last night at a few people knocking them together, so I'm gonna have a go. But there's lots of hazel in this woodland. It's an ancient woodland, a planted ancient woodland they call them. So it's been here since at least 1600 AD, and it would have originally had oak trees, but they were felled fairly extensively during the Middle Ages and for the First World War and the Second World War as well, and they've replaced them with these quick growing Scots pines, which they're actually not too bad. The canopy of the Scots pines is quite thin, so it allows a fair amount of light to get to the forest floor, which helps promote the biodiversity and the flowers and all that. But if you can see behind, it's still quite crowded, this woodland. It hasn't been managed for decades, and there's lots and lots of hazel, which would have been coppiced in the early, well for centuries, up until around the First World War. In England, they used to have an army of coppice workers who would come out and cut down the hazel and use them for fence posts, thatching and all kinds of things. But once technology progressed and other materials were used, and then the army of coppices were never returned from the First World War, a lot of the coppicing has stopped, and this forest is no exception. You can see the size of some of the hazel behind. And what happens is it grows over the forest floor. I mean, this is a grassy ride really. It should be almost like a meadow, a habitat for wildlife, butterflies and native flowers. But as you can see, there's nothing there because there's no light getting to it. So I'll be going around and making that good by coppicing some of the hazel, and I'll pick some nice straight bits and I'll build me chair. So yeah, that's the plan. So I've got 4 straight-ish bits of hazel here. Probably could have found straighter ones, but time is of the essence. Be hungry again soon. I'll have to crack on with the French onion soup. So now, I think what you have to do here is build kind of 2 V-shaped constructions like this. Yeah, that's right, yep. I vaguely remember how to do this. Yep, these 2 are slightly thicker, so I guess these will be the ones on the base, I would have thought. I'll sit on these two bits here. But I think what you have to do next is to kind of marry these two ends up. So I'll cut some material off with the axe and get them bound together with a bit of paracord, I guess. So I'm guessing this is how they go. I'm going to have to shave a little bit of wood off just so they can be tied together. I'm going to use my new axe for this, the little Gransfors Brook hand hatchet. I'm going to do a review of this at some point after I've had a good chance to try it out. I originally bought it for carving, but I'm intrigued to see how useful it is as a bushcraft axe. And you can see how small it is. It's excellent for carving though. So I'll show you what I've done. Just took a few seconds, to be honest. Just carved off a little bit of the wood there. Now those should be able to be tied together like that. What I'll do is I'll probably cut a notch in here and on this side there, just so the paracord can get some grip. And then I think, as far as I'm aware, that's going to be the bit that I sit on there. So that'll be raised off the ground, and this will be on the ground. But you know what? I'll crack on with it, and then it's probably easy to explain once I've made a bit more progress. Well folks, I've made a little bit more progress. That's how the thing's supposed to look. I guess this bit here is going to lean back a bit, but I've just put it forward at the moment so it can stand up and I can show you it. So the idea then is just to put some more hazel over here, and yeah, that's your seat. I'm just trying to figure out how to sort the I mean this joint here has to be fixed somehow. I watched people on YouTube just use the paracord, but I'm thinking I might probably cut in a few notches underneath here so it sits on this supporting beam a bit, and then I'll wrap it up with the paracord. I think I did see someone put another beam on the back here, and do you know what, I guess that might be a good idea because it's probably going to stop. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put another one of these on this back side here, just to, you know, because I don't really want the paracord to take all the strain. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to put another bit of wood at the back here. I'll just show you what I mean. At the moment that's, you know, that's kind of in free fall, but if I fix this piece to the standing A-frame, it's going to stop it from going backwards. Probably going to cut a few notches in just to make sure it's not going to go anywhere. But if I can lean that back a bit. You want to lean back when you're in camp, you don't want to be sitting up straight. I think that's probably about right. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, I guess that's looking alright. Maybe a bit further back, I don't know. I don't want to end up with like a sun lounger. About there maybe? Yeah, let's do it there. I'll just put a few cut marks in the back here, and then I can fix it in. Well guys, it's time to leave the bushcraft chair because it's gone 2 o'clock and it's time for lunch I think. So I've just got the fire going here. I've got some bigger bits of dry wood to go on, and I'll show you what I'm going to cook. This is a very basic rustic soup. I'll show you what we've got. We've got the little Petromax Dutch oven there. Now why I'm cooking it in this is because you can just use the Dutch oven itself for the soup, but with French onion soup you're supposed to put a bit of bread in and some cheese and then, you know, stick it in the oven for 10-15 minutes to melt the cheese, and that's where the Dutch oven lid comes in. So my plan is to heat this up on the fire, put the bread and the cheese on the soup, stick that on top, put some coals on top, and it should hopefully melt the cheese like it would in an oven. So very simple recipe. I've got 2 large onions there and a smaller one so I'm going to put those in. I've got a little tub of beef stock. I'm not going to put the whole thing in because it'll be too salty, so probably just 1/3 of that. I've got my little spice rocket there with some salt and pepper in and some mixed herbs. Got some butter. Got a little bottle of Sauvignon Blanc, and for the bread on top I've got a artisan halkidiki olive roll and a couple of bits of garlic there, and to go on top I haven't got any French cheese, I'm just using Lake District cheddar. So yeah, let's get cracking. Well guys, I only managed to fit 2.5 onions in, but I'm going to get this on now and I'm going to fry it down for about 20-25 minutes. Looks like there's a lot of onions in there, but it'll reduce once they start frying. Well folks, we are definitely making progress with this soup. Lid's a bit hot, so I'm going to use a stick to get it off. What I'm going to do now is just throw in the garlic. Give that just a couple of minutes more I think. So that garlic's doing well in there, so we're gonna just take it off the heat a moment carefully, because these gloves aren't very thick. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the white wine in, and that will hopefully deglaze the bottom of the pot. About 100ml. A bit more than that maybe. And if we give that a stir, get some water in there. Now I'm just going to get the stock in. As I mentioned, I'm not going to put a whole one of these in because they are a bit salty. Probably just gonna get 1/3 of that in there I think, if I can. This is beef stock, but you can use anyone you like I guess. And now I'm just going to get a bit of seasoning in there. Plenty of pepper and just a touch of Himalayan rock salt. Gonna give it a stir and just let it simmer over the campfire. Could do with some more, just a touch more water in there, I think. Give that a few moments. So my next move, folks, is to cut the bread up. So these are going to be almost like croutons, I guess. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the grill plate on the little fire anchor grill that I've got there. And I'm going to toast these before I pop them into the soup. I don't think they're all going to fit in. So, in homage to my favourite chef, Keith Floyd, what I'm going to do is polish off the rest of this wine and have a little bit of bread while I'm at it. Not going to bother with a glass or a cup, just going to slurp it straight from the bottle with a bit of this fine Greek olive bread. It's a little bit stale, but I think stale bread's ideal for French onion soup. Oh, cheers everyone. I like French onion soup. What I really like is those types of traditional rustic meals that you get. Pick them up on the road while you're out and about. I mean, there's famous ones. I mean, French onion soup's a famous meal. And then you've got I had a great stew once in Spain. Aragon stew it was called, with beans in, and oh my word, it was lovely. And obviously you've got the tagine in Morocco, which is another favourite meal of mine. I definitely want to come out in the woods and cook a lamb or a beef tagine. I think that might be my next move. But when we're abroad, I like to go into little local restaurants and ask for their recommendation for local dishes, and you usually end up with something really nice. Wouldn't happen here in the UK. Can you imagine you going to a pub and say, "Oh, can you recommend a local dish?" They'd be like, hey, give them that lasagna from the freezer, that's on the turn. It's been there for a week. I'm just gonna pop the bread on top. If you're watching this and you're French, I'm sorry for not using the proper French stuff. What I've got instead is Lake District cheddar. I'm going to pile that on because I've been working hard today and I need the calories. So I kind of get that spread about. Now the idea here is that the Dutch oven lid with a few coals on. Let's get some herbs on there. It's going to melt this cheese fairly quickly. So let's see what happens. Well folks, so I've had the coals on top of the soup there for about 15 minutes. So hopefully it should be melted. And I'm going to christen this spoon. I actually carved this from some wood, from this Woodland, some hazel. It's probably my finest spoon I've carved to date. I tried to do a Swedish technique, I believe it is. It's called kollrosing. Don't know if you can make that out on camera, can you? Yeah, it's probably not in focus. But you kind of, you just engrave the wood and then rub coffee. You can use all kinds of things, charcoal or whatever. So you just kind of rub the coffee in and then seal it over and then put some oil on. And you end up with that fairly attractive design. I mean, this was my first effort at it, so it's fairly basic and not very good. But some people can do some really fantastic designs on the spoons. So yeah, it's going to get christened today. Let's go and check this soup. Well folks, let's have a look and see how it's turned out. Oh, that's looking good. I'm guessing this is going to be a bit hot. It's going to potentially take the roof off my mouth, but I'm going to give it a go. Oh. A nice sweetness to the onions, and taste the sweetness of the wine. You've got the slightly sharp flavour of the beef stock coming through, and then you've got this olive bread with Lake District cheddar melted on top. I was just thinking though, this signifies the difference between English and French cuisine. If you give an Englishman cheese, onion and bread, he'll make a cheese and onion sandwich. Give a Frenchman the same humble ingredients, and he'll come up with some kind of rustic, exquisite dish like French onion soup. So far so good. Hasn't collapsed. It's alright. It's a bit uncomfortable if you want to sit up straight like this. That's kind of digging into me back. Oh, that's alright. Maybe I needed a bit more. Nah, I think it's better if you sit on it like this, which is how I sit most of the time anyway, slouching. Yeah, it's quite comfy that. Little table there, beer on it. Even eat your dinner, couldn't you? That's alright, happy days. Quite pleased with that. Give myself 10 minutes rest before I pack up and head home, I think. Well guys, that's me done for this little day camp. Just going to leave the bushcraft chair there. Hope no one nicks it. I'll be back tomorrow, so it should be alright. So yeah, a few people have been asking whether or not we're going to be heading away in the truck this year, and we had planned to go away in April to Portugal, but obviously that was cancelled, and I really don't think we're going to go away this year. I'm really reluctant to plan anything or book anything, because I just don't know what's going on in the world, and I don't think anyone else does either. I mean, we're already into June, and like even today on the news the government's talking about 14-day quarantines if you're coming into the UK. So other countries are saying, oh well, if you come here from the UK you can spend 14 days in quarantine. So yeah, I'm probably just going to wait till all this carry on blows over, if it ever does. So this year I think we're just gonna stay local, you know, do things like this, get out, do a bit of wild camping, bit of canoeing, might pop up to Scotland, you know, at the end of the summer. There's a few locks up there that I still want to canoe, see what the weather's like. So yeah, it's not such a bad thing. Anyway, well, I'm almost at the car, so as ever I'd like to say thanks for watching, thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you again in the next one.